to teach you a bit of women. I want to teach you a bit of your anatomy that you may not be aware of, and what not treating STIs properly can precipitate for you. You know, so I like to draw from the ground up. This is the vagina. Hmm? This is where the penis goes in. So that's the penis right there. Hmm? Now, far away up here is the cervix. The cervix up here. So this is the rest of the womb. This is the womb. This is the womb. Huh? This is the womb. Hmm? This is the womb. That is the fallopian tube out here. This is the fallopian tube here. Hmm? And then the egg exists here. Hmm? How fertilization happens is when a man ejaculates here, sperm swims all the way, crawls on the walls, crawls on the walls, crawls on the walls. Now, there is a connection. This is a tube. This is like a tube. Hmm? That's what they call it, a fallopian tube. Of course, the end is fimbriae, but all this is for the medical people. Just for you to know that there's an outlet here, and there's also it sends into this place all the way in here. Do you understand? You know, so this is also an outlet. You know, and it sends all the way in here too. Do you understand? So something like this, if you like, you get my point. So now sperm crawls into this hole. Hmm? Into this hole, keeps going, keeps going, keeps going, comes all the way out here. And if the woman is ovulating, ovulation means that before that time, that's ovulation time, your egg is hidden inside the cocoon. You know, so this is the egg inside here. It's hidden inside something. The egg is inside here. The one that you can fertilize is here. The one that can be fertilized. But this whole thing is called the follicle. Hmm? The ovarian follicle. That's what this whole thing is called. Ovulation means that this follicle is broken and this egg comes out. So ovulation means an egg comes out. So the egg is not here again. It's not outside. This one is the one that sperm can fertilize. So if you immerse the follicle, if you soak it inside a bucket of semen, pregnancy and fertilization will not happen. Hmm? It has to be exposed like this for pregnancy to happen. So if sperm comes out here and this has happened during ovulation, then the sperm will fertilize the egg. Hmm? So the sperm will come out here and meet this, and fertilization will occur. Two of them, after fertilization has occurred, the sperm egg unit is called the zygote, and fertilization occurs outside the womb. That's where it happens, outside. Now, after this has happened, certain programmed messaging makes this unit, the egg and the sperm, come back in here and travel all the way back into this place to come and sit in the womb as what will become your child. So this journey starts after fertilization has happened. So I'll remove this here. Fertilization happens, this is now the zygote. So I will assume the regular egg has emptiness, but the zygote is full. The sperm and the egg, something has happened here. So they now start traveling together, 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 and come into this place anywhere it finds most suitable. And what decides where it will stay is the part of the womb that has more blood supply. So it will find somewhere and implant in here. Okay, now what I just described, this motion, this guy, the zygote does not develop legs and move into this place. What happens is that, of course, the ovum, the entire thing is very close here, outside here, but very close. And that the rest of this tube I drew is like a fimbriae, like this. It's like what's the best way to say it? Almost like something that has digitations like this that will suck something from outside. So you see, so there's a hole in the middle there, and it has digitations to where it wants to collect the egg, like that. So that's how it looks. So it picks the egg. So when it picks the fertilized egg, that's the zygote, then a certain journey starts. This is now where the whole thing, what I want to talk about is the movement of the fertilized egg all the way through the fallopian tube to the uterus happens by a certain mechanism. Let me explain it. If I cut this thing off, if I cut off a part of this tube and I keep it here flat so that I can appreciate it, and I open it so you see the inside, what you see is something like this. Again, you see a flat base and hairs standing like this on it, you know. Of course, if it's a tube, the upper part of the tube, hairs, the lower part, the side, everywhere. There are hairs everywhere inside the tube. And again, these hairs, they sweep in that motion. So they sweep in this direction. So it is the sweeping of the hair, those cilia, that's what we call them, inside the tube that gradually moves the zygote that the fimbriae has picked up. It gradually moves it all the way in. So I hope this board is clear. All the way in and implants it. I just explained fertilization in a very short, explanation. So now watch. Pelvic inflammatory disease, PID, is a disease. It's an infection that happens in one of three places. Either here, in the cervix, on the cervix, or in the innermost wall of this place is called the endometrium. So inside the womb, you can have an infection inside that place, the endometrium. So it happens either in the cervix, plus or minus the endometrium, or you guess right, the fallopian tube. That's what a PID is. Infection that has now come and taken over this place, or taken over the tube, or taken over inside the womb. And it's usually an ascending type of thing. You will agree with me that if pathogens, so you can picture bacteria and all this whatever, this place is maintained in a very fine, neat, ciliar, balanced architecture that is also that is mucinous, and all that, and then bacteria comes here. You know how infections look now, and then it looks like there's an injury there, and then of course some scar will now form there, some patch scar because of infection, half and half, just things are all over the place. Inside this place, that should be fine and smooth. What now happens is that when the woman gets pregnant 10 years later, after she collected an infection she didn't treat properly, the fimbriae will pick up the zygote that her husband's sperm has fertilized, the egg that her husband's sperm has fertilized, and that will be the end. Because the fine hair that is supposed to sweep the egg slowly, day by day, until plantation happens, has been lost to fibrotic tissue from poorly treated STI. So after the fembri picks it, we may have 1 or 2 strands of hair that will just move the guy up 2 cm, and the guy comes here and stops here. And remember, what is moving is not egg. What's moving is not sperm. What's moving is a potential baby. So when he comes here and stays here, the assumption is that we have arrived because, of course, no motion is going on. And all of this movement from here into this place should not last more than a couple of days. So when this sits here, what happens is that pregnancy has happened there. Implantation has happened in the fallopian tube. That's what follows it. The baby starts growing. First week, second week, that's a pregnant woman, pregnant is outside. Third week, this is the guy that has the capacity to take that stretch of baby growth, the uterus, because is a muscular bag that has a thick wall and a rich blood supply. This tube is not made of what this is made of. Wall, talking about the wall. So this happens, and we get to the limit of expansion of the tube, and then it breaks. And this woman can bleed to death in 30 minutes. Woman starts bleeding internally. Blood is, of course, you lost the pregnancy, but that's not even the issue. The issue is that you're about to lose your life. I'm talking about disease that happened 10 years ago that was not properly treated. It's like going to almost cost you your life. And then it presents with sharp pain on the side, down there. Of course, in a woman that's pregnant, probably knows she's pregnant or has missed her period. And sometimes bleeding, depending on where the guy ruptured. If it's in a part where we have gotten to spot somewhere here and it's got stuck because of all this, whatever. Some of the blood will come down this way. You see it in the vagina. And this can kill some people in 30 minutes because this bleeding will not stop now. I remember when the child got implanted, whatever blood vessel that was there will open up so that it will supply the baby plenty blood. Because the child will use your kidneys. The child will use everything you're doing for two. If you're breathing in air for two. If you're eating for two. If you're urinating for two. So all that action that you're doing, the communication between the conduit between you and the child is the blood. And the blood goes through the umbilical cord of the child. So it goes from the child and it sits on that wall. Of course, it sits on the placenta. It's a bag also, something like a blood bag that now plasters on the wall here. So before all that even forms, the fallopian tube will start reacting because this place should be rich in blood supply since there's somebody there. The problem is that it may supply blood, but the capacity to stretch is not there. So after all the blood that should come there, the thing stretches and bursts. Now blood is leaking out. And there's no way to put your hand inside and stop that bleeding. You have to cut the woman. Emergency.